Hello, everybody. Thanks again for attending one more Hostfully webinar. We're so excited to have you here. As you know, we are doing twice webinars a month, and we love having you with us. Today, I have Frank, which is one of our Director of Business Development. He's going to be helping hosting the show today. And we have the pleasure to speak with Damian Sheridan, which is founder and director of the Book Direct Show. And we have Louise Brace, which is founder and director of Rental Tonic. How you guys all feeling today?
Very good, Pedro. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
That's great. Very exciting. For everybody, we are going to wait a couple minutes before we get started just to make sure everybody's able to connect. While we are waiting here, I invite you guys to take a look at the tools that we have posted. So we have a couple questions that we'd love to have your answer. So take your time whenever you can. Please respond, submit your vote, and we're going to take a look at it at the end. The way we're going to do this today, Frank will do a very quickly presentation of Hostfully products and how we basically connect it. Then we're going to have Damian and Louise talking a little bit about content and direct bookings. And at the end, we're going to go over any questions that you guys have. So while we are presenting, feel free to submit your question. We're going to revise all of them at the end and ask to Damian and Louise. I just want to mention one thing. Remember that we want to respond questions that benefit the whole group. So if you have a question about your own operation specifically, we're going to share Damian and Louise contact at the end, and you guys can send directly to them. But if you feel like your question might be a question that benefits somebody else that's watching us today, we're going to go over and read them at the end. All right. So I think we're getting ready to restart. I see a lot of people connected. Again, thank you so much for attending and for being with us in one more webinar hosted by Hostfully. Here we go. Frank, take it away.
Hi, yeah. Again, thank you, Pedro, first of all, for the introduction. Damian and Luis for joining us on the webinar. And also to all of you who joined in on today's call. We're excited to have you with us. Now, just before we start, just wanted to let you know a little bit more about Hostfully. For those of you who are not familiar, we're a vacation rental property management software that helps you run your business tip to tail. We essentially strive to help vacation rental companies and property managers make more money, increase revenue, streamline and automate your day-by-day operations, and just to also improve the overall traveler experience. Now, Hostfully has two products, and these are both completely standalone products. You have the property management platform and then the digital guidebook. They're both fully integrated, so you're, of course, more than welcome to use both of them together, but you also have the option of just using the property management software or just using the digital guidebook. On the property management platform side, we have direct integrations with major OTAs, Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, and a bunch of other channels. And really, we work as a channel manager for those OTAs. So Hostfully will be your central software and your hub in managing all these reservations. We also have a great pipeline feature, which is really cool, and it's really unique to the industry as well. And here is where you can see all your guests and exactly where they are in the process of their booking. And you basically manage your operations in different ways than other softwares in the market as well. We have a really nice out-of-the-box direct booking site, which is available to all of our users. And especially in this day and age, we want as many direct bookings as possible and not to be so reliant on those other channels. Also included in our software is the automated messaging. We have both email and text messages, reports, analytics. We have payment processors and a whole lot more to help you run your vacation rental business. That was the property management platform. Then we also have the standalone digital guidebook platform. This is a cool, unique, beautiful platform where we focus on enhancing the guest's experience. We make it easy to share important information to your guest about their trip, their check-in details, their directions, house manual information, as well as all your favorite recommendations. Again, this aims in boosting your guest experience. It cuts down on communications, and it also has the ability to get you those 5-star reviews, which in turn will get you more reservations. You also have a great upselling feature to increase your overall income. Moving over, we're also winning a ton of awards, which is really exciting, and it's been great. We won Matt Landau's VRMB Keystone Award the first year they had it in 2019 for the best vacation rental software, and then they just released the Keystone winners for 2021, and we won again, which is making us back-to-back winners of that award. And of course, one of the main evaluators, Terry White, said that Hostfully is one of the best softwares, period, I have ever seen, which is really exciting. And then also for the guidebooks, the same thing on the guidebook side. Erica is a client of ours and basically said the same view as many of our other clients. Here, she stated that the guidebook totally blew her away. We saved her a ton of time, and also that the guidebook is more professional than a Word document or a PDF. So if you haven't tested our guidebooks yet, we have a free trial on our website for all subscriptions, and also one free guidebook for everyone who does want to test it out. And not only do we have incredible platforms and beautiful guidebooks, but we also have great reports and webinars and content. We have a variety of reports available on our websites, which I encourage you all to go and check in at your leisure. It's hostfully.com/2020 report, and it has a good selection of reports. You have future booking reports, multiple channel distribution reports, and other reports that have great insight can be useful for your business. So again, I encourage you all to go check out those directly on our website. We have a ton to offer you there, along with blog posts and articles and case studies as well. If you do want any additional information on any of our products, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help and coordinate and schedule a one-on-one demo with you. And then lastly, again, in a nutshell, that's Hostfully. I'm going to go ahead and hand this off to Damian and Louise. So y'all feel free to take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Frank. Louise and Damian, thank you again. Welcome to the stage. Please take it away. We're excited to see what you guys have to teach us.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Really, it's a pleasure to be here. Big fan of Hostfully, what you guys have been doing for years. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Damian Sheridan, and we're going to talk today about the power of content marketing and how it can help you attract more direct bookings. Just by way of quick introductions, I'm all about direct bookings. In case you didn't gather from the name of my companies, I am the director of the Book Direct Show, which is an event very uniquely dedicated to direct booking strategies for short-term rentals, hotels, similar accommodation providers, and more recently founded the Book Direct Network, which is a community platform, again, all dedicated to direct booking education. So that's me, and I'll quickly hand over to Louise.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Louise Brace. I'm a digital marketing specialist and a content creator. My agency is called Tonic, and it's completely dedicated to the short stay and hospitality sectors. And my job is to create the perfect balance of SEO and human-friendly content so that my clients' websites can be found and that they can delight their potential guests when they arrive. So I'm crafting brand stories, I'm developing content strategies for Book Direct websites, writing OTA descriptions, lots of destination content, delving into videos, creating destination videos as well at the moment, as well as helping with social media strategies, writing brochures, and lots more. Everything to do with writing for the hospitality sector.
Great. I'll carry on from here then, Lou. So yeah, I didn't say I was an SEO. I'm an SEO consultant as well. I work with property managers in the vacation rental industry. And yeah, today we're going to talk about content marketing. It's probably important at this point to say that our focus for this talk is going to be about website content. It is not going to focus in on things like video marketing or email marketing. and content for things like that. Louise is the expert on those things, so should you wish further education on those, definitely reach out to her afterwards or in the subsequent few days. So we're going to focus. Yes, Louise, go ahead.
I was going to just talk a little bit about our introduction for content marketing. But so we're going to be talking about content marketing, and these are all the things we're going to be talking about during the presentation. But I just really wanted to say that every piece of content that you put out there, so every message and every image, every video, it's an action that forms part of your content marketing strategy, and every action should have a purpose. So these days we have so many channels. It's hard to know kind of which to work on first or which to give priority to. You've got your book direct website, you've got your OTA listing, you've got your email marketing to think about, various social media channels, and you might even have some Google ads going, or a brochure. And most of us tend to focus more on like how many followers, how many likes you have on Instagram or Facebook, or how many subscribers you have for your newsletters. And I get that, because these messages are short, they're sharp, and they're easy to create, and they kind of give us like an instant gratification when we get the likes and shares. But by doing this, we kind of forget the ultimate purpose, and that is to drive these followers and subscribers to our website. And our website is the place where our brand lives. It's where we communicate our values, and then where we communicate our why. So, and it's where we have the freedom to sing about our accommodation and our destination and our experience. And it's where we should be turning visitors into book direct guests, which is our ultimate purpose. So your website is really something that we should be focusing more on. It's where our potential clients should be finding everything they need to make the decision to book with us. So to get clients to our website is content marketing, and to deliver the right information on the website is inbound marketing. And yeah, that's what Damian and I are going to be focusing on today with all of these topics that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, so what we're going to go through is the what you can see on screen. So the guest profile, who we should be writing for, where we can get content ideas. I know a lot of us struggle to actually think up of ideas about what to write about. Content types, the regularity, how often we should be writing fresh content or blogs. Word count, how much should we be writing. The structure of your actual content, how we should be optimizing for search engines, and putting pen to paper, how we can actually get started. So I will let Louise talk first of all about your ideal guest and the niche, because this is very much her area of expertise.
Thank you, Damian. So nailing the ideal guest and your niche market. So when I start working with clients, they generally like, oh, why do I need an ideal guest? I want everybody to book my accommodation. I don't want to kind of hone down on a specific target. I want everybody to book, but that's kind of a mistake. So when we start to think about our ideal guest, when we focus on a single guest profile and a niche market, we start to attract individuals who want exactly what we have. And the benefits of knowing your ideal guest and defining a niche are many. And most importantly is that you get to work with exactly the kind of guests that you want to welcome to your home. And when your ideal guest reaches your website, they're going to instantly know if this vacation or this holiday is for them. So some of the benefits in nailing that ideal guest and niche are it's easier to get people to book with you, and it's easier to get people to book with you again. So getting repeat bookings, they can make more sense of your social media efforts, and you get to easily hang out online where your guests are likely to be. So it's easier to capture winning feedback through 5-star guest reviews, and you can put your expertise and local knowledge into long form articles to boost interest about your accommodation. And then focusing on a niche just gives you personality. It gives your business personality. And instead of being one of the crowd, you're going to kind of become the leader of the pack. When we don't do this exercise, when we're starting out on writing content, more often than not, we find ourselves managing a commodity product. And well, what does that mean? It means that if your guests can't identify some specific way that your property or your experience is unique, they're going to default to the only thing that they know or that they can measure, and that's price. And price is just a terrible place to compete, because there's always somebody that's going to be willing to go lower than you. So you really need to find something that sets you apart from the competition. Think about your ideal guest, think about your niche market, and then become that experience for that ideal guest and communicate it to the world through your content, through your inbound messaging. So I can talk loads on the ideal guest and the niche market, but I guess maybe we will save that for another webinar. Okay, so next, finding content ideas. Damian, am I going to leave this one with you?
Yeah, I will take this one, Louise. Thank you. So as an SEO consultant, search engine optimization, for those who are not in the know, I work with my clients in a number of ways. But one of the major ways is to write content for their website and have search engines explore that content and value it for its sense of authority and trust, and effectively to lead people to that site. One of the major obstacles, I think, for a lot of people and those possibly watching is how on earth do we, find ideas? How do we know what to write about, apart from just the obvious things? So I'm just going to go through a few very quick things that I always suggest to my clients. Google is the number one thing. It's the easiest thing that we can all do, and with numerous free tools available to us. The Google search, obviously, is the most obvious one. You probably have realized that Google has an autocomplete, like a predictive text. So when you start to write in your location or one seed word, it will bring up numerous other words afterwards. So a really good idea to get an idea about what people are actually using and searching for. People also ask, and related to, there are also other things that you'll find on the search engine results pages further down, and give you ideas about important search terms that you can consider to write about. Search Console is a product from Google. It's free. It is a little bit technical, but it's certainly something worth integrating and exploring, because you can get a raft of data from there about organic search terms, organic just meaning natural search terms that you have ranked for in Google that you may not have even realized. So do check out Google Search Console. Again, this is, to go into it in any detail might take too long for a webinar like this. So just check it out. Keyword Planner is traditionally something that a lot of SEOs and a lot of digital marketers would have used in the past. It's probably not something I would use as much anymore, but it is a tool for those who are using Google Ads, where you can explore keywords or phrases that advertisers, people are searching for in Google. Here are some free tools available to you. We've got Answer the Public, which I'd invite everyone to check out. It's a really great product and free. There is a limited availability per day, but definitely worth checking out. Uber SEMrush and Ahrefs. Some of them are paid, but those first two at least can give you some great content ideas. So, for example, if you just use the location wherever your property or properties are, you can really get some good ideas about what people are searching for on search engines. Now, one of the things that we all take for granted and perhaps don't explore is the popular questions that our guests have asked in the past. So I would certainly recommend going through your emails, your WhatsApp messages, any kind of form of communication that you've had with your guests in the past, or those who do your check-ins for you and have done. What are those questions that people always ask? And we probably all agree that very much, quite often, they're the same questions you get asked again and again. There's two reasons to write about these. One is that chances are a lot of people are going to be searching for these things online. But two, you also have a page to refer all of your future guests to, so when they arrive. So effectively, you don't have to answer these questions. So it makes your operations a little bit more efficient down the line. Some suggestions I have here. Things to do, always a really popular post on any given location. Best restaurants, best bars, local markets, grocery shopping, which is one that I picked up on just very recently. And I think in light of COVID, this is something that's becoming increasingly popular, the best shops for doing grocery shopping in your local area. And I'd also say to check out your competitors too. Louise probably has something to add in here, but I would definitely suggest if you see competitors who are ranking in the top page of your Google search results for a given phrase, check them out. What are they doing right? How many words are they using? What's the structure of their page? What kind of questions are they answering? These are the kind of things I think it's worth exploring. Would you agree with that, Lou?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that just a bit later on in the presentation. So yeah, we'll cover that. It's a very important one.
Before we move on, I'd say one important thing for anyone writing content and trying to get some kind of organic ranking, which is natural ranking, you will not be able to compete with the likes of Airbnb, VRBO, Expedia, Booking.com, or whatever for a phrase like San Francisco rentals. Absolutely forget it. As much as it might be tempting because you see significant search volume for that per month, it's not going to happen. These companies have armies of teams working on content like this in their back end. So instead, focus on long tail keyword searches. And these are searches of usually about 4 words plus. But they typically have less demand and less search volume, but more level of an intent. So I've just given a couple of examples here. San Francisco rentals, forget it for those of Hostfully clients who are in San Francisco. But for example, romantic getaways, San Francisco Bay Area, it's much more focused, focused level of intent and easier to rank for if you're actually using those words throughout your content.
That's very interesting. Just cutting 1 second here. It's really interesting you said, because that also connects with the idea that Louise said about the ideal guest and the niche market that you want to work with, right? You basically direct and choose who can come to your website. I love that.
And you know, there's so many in terms of that, the kind of long-tailed keyword searches. If you, for example, have facilities for pets, you know, make sure you have got on your listings on your site or on your blog content that pet-friendly rentals, or you know, you've got a jacuzzi or hot tub or anything like that. These are really popular words that people do add to their searches within search engines like Google. So definitely target that.
I have a client that I've been working with in Belize, and they have an article which was about get the easiest way to get Wi-Fi, to get fastest Wi-Fi in Belize, and it's their highest ranking. It's their most popular article because, you know, it might not sound like something you're going to be writing about when people are coming on holiday or what, but it's what people are looking for. And once you get them there, you're going to be then working towards getting them around the website, looking at other things, finding out what you do, and, you know, everything else that comes with, you know, having your book direct website.
Another thing that I'd add on to this, I have an apartment in Spain that I do rent out. Not so much over the last year, but one of my most popular pages for website traffic is just a travel page, which is dedicated to travel from the airport to the local town by taxi, by public transport, etc. And it's really just that I saw that there was very few people actually writing about this. And this is something that gets a minimum about 120 clicks a day. So it's something that can, you know, really, without an awful lot of hard work, can deliver a significant amount of traffic to your site. So travel, for me, is an important one to consider. But Louise is going to touch on some of the types of content now.
Didn't you also have one, Damian, that we were talking about where to watch the football? when you visit Nerfa.
Yeah, that's right. In the local town, yeah. Again, goes back to the questions that the guests ask, and this is football. You're soccer equivalents, guys. But one of the questions that I got asked by so many couples, by the male of the couple, is where can I watch the football sports bars in the local area? So I just wrote a really short piece about it. Again, it gets a lot of traffic to it. Now, the thing is, with some of this traffic, some may not be relevant because, it may be guests who have already booked, but, they find your site, then, they may come back if you can get their data when they've actually jumped on your site, and you can refer back to them in future, then, it's a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about what types of content next. Okay, so I'll take this one. Okay, so when I sit down to write a website or website content, it definitely helps to put your content into sections and types of content. So not every page is equal in terms of the volume that you write for it or the structure. So your home page is not going to be chock full of copy and keywords, but your destination page might be. Your accommodation page doesn't need to express and describe every detail of the stay, but your experience page should be delivering all of the feel-good elements of the stay. So I generally try to break down website content in the following structure and then plan out a navigation menu based on the unique experience of every accommodation and every client. So you have your product information, which is going to be about your accommodation. It's going to be your rates and booking page. It's going to be your frequently asked questions, and it's going to be your contact us. Your inspirational content is going to be your home. It's going to be your destination guide, your things to do, your experience, what the experience people are going to have when they stay with you, your articles in a blog, and your story, which also has to be inspirational. So loads of people write there about us or our story, and they talk again about the accommodation, but it has to be about you. It has to be about you, your personality, so that your visitors will start to connect with you and think, yeah, I really want to contact this person. They've got a really interesting story. I love why they're running this vacation rental. So that has to be inspirational as well. And then long form, which is something we're going to talk about again later in the presentation. So long form content, so pages and articles which have to be a lot more intense in terms of their volume of content, will be your destination, your things to do, your guides, list articles. You might have an ebook that you're offering, or a guide, and your frequently asked questions as well. So those are the types of content, and when you can think about how you structure them, and then you can start to plan out your navigation. And how often...
Yeah, Louise, actually, just jump in there with one thing. We just go back to that. You were talking about us and talking about your own team. But I think it's a really important thing that a lot of companies and property managers miss out on. We just have like a contact page, which is very anonymous. We don't give any information out about ourselves, let alone even a phone number or an email address. With a lot of companies that would just have like a standard inquiry form. But I think it's really important to let our prospective guests know about us. Get some photos on there and just write about yourself, because people want to know that they're staying with a real person and not just with a faceless corporate company. So I think that's something along the lines of being, inspiring your prospective guests, letting them know you're real, you're genuine, and building a rapport even before they've booked. I think is something that we should all be considering.
Definitely.
Anyway, how often should I add new content? This is something that I know Louise probably gets asked all the time, and I know something that I get asked all the time. And I'm sure there's a lot of people watching who have this dilemma all the time too. Should we be posting every day, every week, or every month? There is no right or wrong answer to this, unfortunately. Yes, the more regular you can post something, the better. However, it's more important to write some quality long form posts than just to write something quick once every day or every week. I did hear very recently, it's a famous podcast actually in the US that you guys will definitely know of. And one of the presenters was advocating for all property managers to be writing something once a week, 300 words. And I just think that really just the wrong information, and really doesn't help anyone, because you effectively will write something for the sake of writing something, and it becomes a chore as well. I think writing content for me, and you will probably back this up, Louise, it should be something enjoyable. It should be something that you've researched and really got dug into, and not something that should just be churning out a certain amount of words once every week or whatever. Because it's all well and good at the end of a year having 50 extra pages, but are they going to do you any extra benefit? And as an SEO, I will definitely tell you they do not. And yeah, so for me, work within your resources. Be realistic about what you can write. Don't set yourself an unrealistic goal of saying you're going to write something once a week, because that can sound easy, but it's not. When it comes to that day, every Thursday or Friday, when you think, oh my goodness, I've got to write something now, you don't want it to become a chore. So yeah, I think just write when it's right for you, and try and deliver quality over the quantity.
Yeah.
Word count, Louise, you probably, again, I'll take this. Again, something that we both get asked is there a minimum number of words for any new page that you're going to publish? Should it be 300 words? Should it be 500? Should it be 1,000 plus? Again, unfortunately, there's no right or wrong answer here, but it's really about succinctly and answering questions, making sure your content delivers that element of quality, using that competitor analysis, find out what the companies in your local area, how they're answering questions that are being asked online. And yeah, we're going to talk about long form. Are we going to talk about that later on, Louise, or should we just talk about that now, long form content?
Yeah, I mean, I can just talk a little bit on this. So, I mean, generally, content is divided into short form and long form content. Most content briefs that I get tell me to write a minimum article of 500 words, but not to go over 800 or 900 words. But the problem with that is that you often end up producing shallow articles, and they offer less value in your content website strategy. So if you're investing in time researching a topic and writing an article, and it does take a lot of time and energy to write an article, and I'm doing it every day, so I should be kind of like, I should be knocking them out. But when you want to write a good article, a valuable article for your website, it does take up time and energy. So if you're investing in this time researching and writing, why not really get to grips with your subject? An extended article, so a long form article, offers just so much more value, both for the reader and in terms of SEO. So a long form article, some SEO experts and writers will say that a long form article has to be more than 2,000 words. Again, I don't, in my case, think that that's particularly true. I think a long form article for me is generally over kind of 1,000 to 1,200 words. And even if it's less, I think that if you're crafting memorable and visible content, it means that you've written, and if you've written an article that contains everything that somebody needs to know about that topic, that you haven't cropped the information or skipped details, that you're giving every nugget of information to the reader and to search engines, then again, it can be shorter. For me, a long form article is an article that encompasses the subject, really, regardless of how long it is. But it's often difficult to do that under kind of 1,000 to 1,200 words.
Yeah, great. And I think Louise is going to touch upon this later on. How obviously that's going to sound a bit daunting to a lot of people, making something 1,000, 2,000 words long. That's a heck of a project. But and even still, when you've got that amount of text, that could look really dull on a new page, just a very text-heavy page. So, no, in fact, I think Louise is just going to cover that now. So I will let you do it.
Okay, so your website needs to be content rich, and it needs to include both written and visual content, so people don't get bored. So there's got to be enough content, written content, for Google to recognize that you're an expert in your field, so you're the local expert, and for your clients to understand what you do and why they need to have you in their life, why they need to book with you. But as human beings, we actually have quite a short attention span, especially as nowadays we have so many distractions in our life. So I can admit that I can be watching TV on my laptop and playing a game on my phone at the same time. And I guess that, many people are the same. In fact, on average, web users are kind of reading between 20 to 28% of any web page during their visit. So what we need to do is get a balance of information to make it information rich, but also to make it scannable. So this is how I generally run an article, especially an article when it's in a long form format. So I have an attention grabbing headline, and I follow that headline with an image or a video. And then what I have is a lead-in, and a lead-in is kind of summarizing in an introduction what somebody's going to read or find, the information that they're going to find in this article. And then I break down the article into bite-sized paragraphs, and I use H2 subheadings, which I know Damian is going to talk about a little bit later. And I use bold text, and I use bullet points to highlight certain keywords and phrases throughout the content. And then the whole article is interspersed with images, with videos, with infographics. However, whatever you need to do to make that scannable, so they can scan down the page. And if they don't want to read it, they can watch the video. They can see the bullet points. They can grab out the key phrases from headlines and from bold text, and they know what you're saying. They know that you're going to be the local expert for your destination. Also really important for it to include inbound and outbound links, contextualized links. So we don't have a page of useful links anymore. We have organic content talking about a specific topic, and within that article, within that content, we're putting inbound links to other pages on our website. So we're trying to keep people on our website by including links to our accommodation page, links to another article, and outbound links to other websites of authority about this topic. So that's going to help with our SEO. So that's how I structure a website content to make it information rich, but also scannable.
Yeah, I work with a lot of clients in the same way as Louise. I may not write the content, but I just try to help it convert. And the best we can hope for, especially with a long form new published page, is for somebody to scan it. We do not expect anyone to read all 1,000 words. They're not gonna. So what we need to do is pick out these important points. And also, I would say to make sure we have a call to action on that page too. So making sure, effectively, it's all well and good for us to have someone come onto your page and go, oh yeah, that was great, and then leave. The last thing we want them to do. We want them to actually, make an inquiry, make a booking, or at least, maybe provide some data whereby you can contact them back. So make sure that that call to action is there on the page, and it's no more than one click away from that user where you've actually got them. So lead them in the correct funnel. The other types of content available. Louise, you might be better placed to talk about this, or if you want, I can.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Okay, so we again, talking about about it being scannable and being of interest to all types of visitors. So those that want to read, those that want to listen and watch, those that just want to scan, want to see a visual, want to see an infographic. So we can use different types of content to make our website more interesting. So that might be infographics, it might be video marketing. So using videos is super important at the moment. Creating a speech video. And when I say that, you can do that two ways. So you can create a video from an article. There are tools that will allow you to do that. So you literally put your article into an app and it makes a video from your article, and you can do it vice versa. So you can make more written content by having a video and writing the content around the video. Floor plans and 3D tours are super important, especially if you're targeting families who want to be able to see what space, is there going to be enough space for the children, is there going to be enough space for the grandparents. Ebooks, so things like your guide, getting people to subscribe to get a guide to the best hiking routes in Andalusia, for example. Podcasts, newsletters. I mean, there's so many ways you can break up content on your website.
Yeah, and I'd also like to highlight what Louise said about video marketing and including video on on any page, really. I mean, there's two things to consider. One is that a lot of OTAs, online travel agents, I think that was asked in the questions, like all the big players that we know of. Property managers aren't permitted to obviously add video on some of those sites, but on your own site you can do whatever you want. So do make the most of that. Use the embed facility from YouTube or Vimeo, or the numerous facilities there are out there to host video. But also, and perhaps most importantly from an SEO point of view, to keep people on your page for longer. It's that dwell time is loved by Google. The amount of time that people spend on your page, and you are much more likely to keep people on your pages if you have a video playing, because people will engage with it more logically, and they won't have to read through text, because as we said, we're getting lazier by the day, and I think we're becoming much more visual now, and we expect video really more than any time in the past. So yeah, video, big one for me. So yeah, as an SEO, I'm going to just touch upon some of the things that we should be looking to optimize within our content for search engines. So we talked about keywords and search before. So if you have actually found some great search terms that you think, yeah, I want to write about that, there are certain places that we should be looking to add them in, but not stuffing them, which is really important, because that's a very old hat manipulative strategy that will actually get you penalized now. So it's a case of just sprinkling them in certain areas, and those would include your page title tag. That's the main link at the top that you see on the Google search results pages. Your meta description, which is the longer kind of explanation underneath. The reason I've kind of slightly graded out there is because that doesn't have actual SEO value, but it's really important for click-through value, and making sure you use that longer description to actually sell the page and make people click on it. Within your content, obviously, very important to talk about your keywords and your core search phrases, and especially above the fold. And when I say the fold, that's the part of the page where people have to start scrolling down. So important to have it as high up as possible. Your header tags, which Louise talked about earlier on, is just those titles and subtitles within a page on content management systems like WordPress and I guess Hostfully. I'm not sure, but you can use header tags, which are like H1, H2, H3, according to their size, and it just helps you structure a page and your content a little bit more. Your image descriptions underneath that, really important to let Google and other search engines know what your actual image is all about, and helping explain what it is. Your URL slug, which is the little bit of of your main URL address that comes after your main domain. So you should be able to customize that on any platform where you're building new content, and internal links. So Louise also touched upon this before. When you can link to another page within your site, that really helps just to create a structure and a hierarchy within your website. And again, just to let search engines like Google know that that other page is an important one, and you're using certain anchor keywords, mix them up to denote what that other page is all about. I've also put on the side here, also check out, these are a little bit more technical, but things that everyone should be looking at in terms of overall SEO related strategies, things like rich snippets, structured data, link building. I think I may have seen a question before about link building. Maybe we'll go back to that at the end, Pedro. But it's a big part of SEO, how to get somebody to link through to you. Maybe we'll go back on that afterwards. Mobile first, core vitals. These are all a little bit technical, but page speed is really important. How quickly your page loads, and one of the biggest things, actually, one of the biggest reasons a page can be slow is that your photos are just too big. So do compress them on any new bit of content that you are publishing to your site, and just make them no bigger than they actually need to be on page, because it's quite often, I'm sure Louise has seen this, I'm sure all you guys have seen this, they can be plonked onto a page, and they're 20 megabytes, and it's going to make the page rendering time really slow. So one of the most important things as part of your SEO checklist for any new content, make sure your images are compressed as much as possible without losing the definition, of course.
That's great, Damian. Just before you touch on the next subject, I want to confirm that the direct booking, the Hostfully direct booking website does support meta descriptions. You can also customize header and footer. Just wanted to make sure that everyone had that information before.
Great. And I'll pass it over to Louise. She is, as you've probably gathered, I'm more of the robot between us. She is more of the human. So I'm going to let her talk about how she actually deals with getting started with the content and actually writing it.
Okay, so the very important subject, how do I get started on writing content? So I spend more time researching what people are searching for on a destination than I do actually writing about the subject. That has a lot to do with, because I'm often writing from second-hand experience, and if you're writing from first-hand experience, then you'll probably do less research. However, first or second-hand experience, is always important to research what articles are ranking high on search engines. And so here's a great tip, which we kind of briefly talked about before. Once you have decided on the topic, go to page 1 of Google and type in that topic or that subject, and look at the articles that are ranking on page 1 for this subject. So this might sound a bit like cheating, but if you want to rank against the competition that are coming out on page 1 about your area, about your niche, you need to know what your successful competitors are writing about, what they're doing in terms of content in marketing. So this will help you read through every article and pull out the key points. What's working in this article? Try to write around the information from each of those pages on page 1. Don't copy, of course. Write in your own unique way to your ideal guests. Make the article original, but focus on what information and keywords have helped these articles to rank on page 1. So around 60% of my time is spent researching on the subject. Once I've chosen the subject and I've read those top ranking articles, I make notes. I make loads of notes, and I generally kind of break my subject down into sections, and I work on each section independently. So, for example, I've just written a destination guide for Buxton and the Peak District in the UK, and I researched the best of that destination and then broke it down into smaller sections. So I make notes, and then what I do is I put those notes into order of how I think they're going to be running in the article. So you make your notes, you put your notes into an order of priority, and then I start writing. So you just have to breathe, research, make notes, and then just start. And that's how I work.
Great. Well, that's kind of us. I just wanted to let you know just a little bit about Louise. She's, in fact, Louise, do you want to finish up and tell people about Rental Tonic?
Yeah, I mean, we said it in the beginning, but I offer kind of content marketing services to accommodation and hospitality businesses. I'm predominantly a content marketeer, but I can also help with strategies for social media, with design for offline brochures as well. I've been in the business working with hospitality companies for over 10 years. Yeah, that's me.
Great. Well, I'm Damian, and as I said before, I'm an SEO consultant, but my focus now is more on the book direct world, and we have an annual show. There's one coming up in September. Free tickets for online access, and we also have an in-person conference in London, which Louise is speaking at. So if you enjoyed what she said today, you can get more for there. And we also have the Book Direct Network too, which is a free platform for people to come and learn and watch videos and read articles, all related to direct bookings, content, etc. So yeah, that's us.
Oh my God, that was amazing, Damian and Louise. Thank you so much. I actually had a lot of questions, but the content was so rich that you kind of answered my questions already. But the good part of it is that the audience has a lot of questions to you guys. And I see some questions related to basically like photos and videos and related to like load time issues. And I remember that you've mentioned how important is the speed of your page, right? How fast it can load. So could you touch a little bit about, I think you spoke already about like making the images like in the right sizes, but how to like have good quality and good videos to keep that on your page, but also paying attention to like how fast your website is loading.
A lot, yeah. Well, I'll jump in there. Oh, I think have we lost Louise? In terms of the video, yeah, it can cause time lag on a page loading up for sure. There are really good tools out there for those who use WordPress. There are some great plugins that can help that considerably. There seems to be a great trend, especially in the vacation world, for home pages to have videos running in the background, a nice sea view or something like that. But yeah, just bear in mind that it can considerably increase your load time. So I would suggest just do some A/B testing. Make sure it's not affecting your page load speed. Use GTmetrix, which is a great tool, and Google's own Developer Insights tool to check that.
Perfect.
But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's going to depend on the actual platform that you use, and I guess Hostfully's got a great way of making videos work as well.
Awesome.
Thanks for answering that, and welcome back, Louise.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just lost connection and had to come back in again. Sorry about that.
No worries. I also have some questions, and that's more related to Hostfully, so I'm going to respond to that real quickly. People are asking, where does Hostfully operate in different parts of the world? I just want to let you know that Hostfully is able to serve you wherever you are in the world. So we currently operate in more than 80 countries, and if we don't operate in your country yet, you'd be our first client out there, but we'd be happy to help you out there. So don't be shy. Reach out to us if you have any questions. If you want to speak with us, we can have someone to basically take a look at your operation and see how we can help you. Cool. So we have another 7 minutes. Let's be respectful with the time. But Damian and Louise, I have still some few questions for you guys. And a lot of people are asking about the blog section on their website. Should they have a blog section? What are your thoughts about that?
Yes. You don't have to call it a blog section because that kind of word is a bit antiquated now. So you might want to call it a guide. You might want to call it articles. You generally, if you're in San Francisco, you would call it San Francisco Guide, for example, because then you're utilizing a keyword as well as your blog title. But if you didn't have a blog or article section, you just have like hundreds of pages. So yes, you absolutely have to have a blog section, article section, whatever you want to call it. And that's where you should be writing fresh content all the time.
Yeah,
but we also actually, Pedro, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Damian.
No, I was just going to say, for me, the word blog is it's an old word now, and I think it probably died a death even 5 years ago. So I would, even when I see a site that has a blog at the top, and then you jump. Well, are you going to go into it? Probably not. But you need to inspire. Louise used a great word before: inspiration. You need to inspire people. Yeah. No person in the world is going to be inspired by the word blog to actually go into that section. So.
It doesn't mean anything, but if you're thinking about traveling to San Francisco and you've got on your navigation you've got San Francisco Guide, people are going to click in there because they're going to think, I want to know what's happening in San Francisco. Whereas if you've just got blog, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have any value. So if you're going to have this article section, call it a guide.
And then in regard, since we're talking about just the content and the amount of information they have on the website, what if somebody wants to go ahead and book after reading your content? Kind of how would that property manager or owner, how would they get people to book that property after reading that content?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. It kind of follows on, I guess, from what I mentioned before about the call to action, making sure that every one of your new pages has some kind of call to action, whether it's going from there to explore all your properties, or if they're in a property page, making sure that that booking funnel is really simple and easy to use. The worst thing is when you start asking questions like, asking for people's home address and asking them to register, as part of the booking process. I mean, these are things that are absolutely unnecessary at point of booking. Keep it really simple. I'm against offering like discount codes where people then go off and try to find discount codes for your site. Keep it really simple. What are you after effectively? You're after their name, email address, maybe phone number and credit card number. That's what you want to get. Don't make it, several clicks to have to get through to that endpoint, because with every extra click, you're going to lose people and potentially forever. So keep that booking process really simple. A lot will depend on your PMS as well, or your booking engine. So sometimes, it can be out of your hands, but I wouldn't add too many layers to that booking process if you can help it.
Yeah, and Hostfully's platform, very simple, very user-friendly. But then, Louise, you did mention it earlier, but in regard to like inbound links within the content, how can you get like those inbound links to that person's website from other sites in regard to their accommodation? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I can't stress it enough. Be the local expert. Shout about your destination, because if you're writing, like for example, you're not Airbnb, don't write about a destination, Booking don't write about a destination. You love what you have, and
did we lose her?
Yeah, but I think we.
Hello?
She was too passionate on the subject. They just cut her.
Exactly. Your internet couldn't take how passionate you were about the subject.
Yeah, she got disconnected. Okay.
Talk just a bit about link building. I mean, it's not easy. It's one of the most important things, annoyingly, of SEO. and receiving website traffic, but it's one of the hardest too. So you need to convince people to actually link to you from their website and how they're going to do it. Sometimes you need to massage their egos a little bit, or sometimes you just need to ask, if you've got local partners, making sure that they are aware of you. Can you do an interview, for example, with someone in your local area, then ask them to link to you? There are strategies at play here to do it, but it is tricky without a doubt, because effectively you've got no control over it, no immediate control. You can link out, but you can't, get people to automatically link in. So it's just really the quality behind a blog. I find naturally, if you write an amazing piece, I use the word blog, sorry. If you write an amazing piece, that chances are naturally you will get some links back to it. And that usually can be very successful.
That's great. Thank you so much, Damian. I think our time is up. So thank you, everybody, for staying with us until the end. It's great to see consistent audience until the end. So thank you again for submitting your questions. I apologize if I couldn't answer your question today. I can tell you that I'll send you a follow-up email with Damian and Louise contact information. So you can definitely send them a question, can definitely reach out to them. I'll also share with you my contact information, Frank's contact information, if you want to learn more about Hostfully. And that was that. The results for the polls, 88% of the participants responded that they would love to learn more about ideal guests and niche markets. So Louise, that might be another topic for a future webinar. Keep that in mind. Let's discuss about that. And about 67% of all the attendees responded that they struggle a little bit to produce content for their website. Well, I hope that was very helpful for you. It was very helpful for me. Again, if you're struggling, maybe Damian and Louise are able to help you. And if you need to streamline your operations and make everything work faster and better in your favor, keep Hostfully in mind. Give us a chance. Let's chat. All right. Thank you so much, Damian. Thank you so much, Louise, Frank, and everybody for being with us. I look forward to seeing you guys on our next webinar.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Have a good weekend.